All right, y'all, welcome into the Ringerverse. We are so excited. We've just gotten back from San Diego Comic-Con. Obviously, you've heard us break down all the Marvel news. But while we were there, we had some phenomenal interviews. First up for y'all, this is an olive branch to all the Invincible fans out there. We got to talk to the legendary Robert Kirkman. Van and I talk about everything from the success of the show, his new comments, and Thrag. So, please, guys, Invincible fans, this is for y'all. We love y'all. Next year, we want to cover more Invincible, so we're going to talk to Robert Kirkman. And then after that, we talked to Cody Ziglar. Amazing guest. He has been announced as the new writer on the Static Shock series. So Van and I get into everything from like why Static is a dream book for him, and also some of his work as a TV writer on stuff like She-Hulk, Futurama, Rick and Morty. So yeah, guys, enjoy some of the content we made for you at San Diego Comic-Con.
This episode of The Ringerverse is presented by Searchlight Pictures. More than ever, America needs a laugh. Enter Super Troopers to the rescue. The cult comedy classic returns with the most offensive installment yet, with Super Troopers 3. A debaucherous bachelor party, an over-the-top wedding, and a dangerous drug smuggling ring all threaten the troops' future. Fill your liter of cola and roll up to the multiplex for Super Troopers 3. Meow playing only in theaters. Get tickets. Meow.
All right, y'all, we are joined here by the legend, Robert Kirkman. Dog, how are you doing?
Doing great.
I've been in the comics all my life. You have kind of become the mayor of Comic-Cons, I feel like. What is your San Diego experience like? How many hands you shaking? How many retailers you talking to? What's it like?
I don't often put my hands this close to my face. So, because I am shaking a lot of hands and, I don't want to get sick. But yeah, no, it's great. You walk around, people are very nice and kind. And, every now and then people are like hounding me or chasing me or something. But it's part of the fun. It's something I enjoy.
What do you feel like?
My favorite thing is I'm walking through a hallway and somebody goes, "Hey, are you that guy?" And I go, "I don't know, man. You tell me." Yeah. And I keep walking. And then they're like, and then every now and then they'll Google something and they'll find me and then they'll chase me down and I'll be like, "You just didn't know."
Is it weird for you to be at the peak of Invincible now? I remember when I was buying the floppy versions of both Walking Dead and Invincible, and when Walking Dead was like taking off like a rocket, to my friends, I was like, okay, nah, but Invincible's the real one. And they're like, what?
I will talk about this. So Walking Dead blew up. Yeah, I mean, there is an aspect of Walking Dead blew up, and I was like, but Invincible's cool too. And no one cared. And I went to Comic-Con. I've been going to Comic-Con since 2001. Yeah. So Walking Dead really blows up 2009, 2010, 2011, around in there. And so I can't walk anywhere. People are, hassling me anywhere I go. I can't look at the Transformers booth. I can't buy my indie comics, Then, a few years into Walking Dead, people start bothering me less. And I'm like, oh,
you want it.
Oh, this is what happens. I am significantly less popular. Like, people still see me, but it's not the same. Right. There's a noticeable difference. And I was like, all right, this is kind of cool. I actually liked it because I can get around more, you know? It's also a little sad. It's like, ooh, if I lost my mojo, is it over for me? Am I done? But then now Invincible's going and it's like, oh, it's back. Oh, no.
What is it like to have your name associated with the stamp of approval for lore? Right? Because to have one lore is one thing. A lot of people have one.
Sure.
But then to re-up and have people dive into another world that you've created, now you kind of become like one above all in a sense, right? So the people are looking at you as like you're making different universes. Like, so to be in that situation now, like, what is that like?
I mean, it's a lot of pressure, and it's pressure that I take seriously. There's a fan base for Walking Dead and Invincible that existed before they really blew up, and they blew up because of that fan base. And so when I'm in the writer's room on Invincible, when I'm approving cuts, when I'm, working with the voice actors, like I am making sure that I provide an authentic experience to those fans. So they feel like the material that they loved, that they've, supported for as many years as they have, is being treated with respect, and that their commitment to it is being honored. And so it is something that I spend, a lot of time like making sure that I'm doing right.
Is it wild to you that as someone, I was reading Invincible month to month, or sometimes, y'all was taking breaks. Like, right on, y'all needed time. I was in the trenches. I was like, damn, it was supposed to come out. I was arguing with my comic book shop owner. Is it weird now that a different type of fan is mad at you? They're just like, when are we getting the next Invincible season? Y'all taking too long. So you've had it both ways.
Yeah, no, I mean, it never goes away. I mean, when we were doing Walking Dead compendiums and they weren't all out, it takes 48 issues to do a compendium, which is 4 years worth of comics. And so we did the first one, but we hadn't put enough comics out to do a second one. And everyone, they just don't get that. And so they're like, where's Compendium 2? Where's Compendium 2? For like years. And then we finally put it out. And the day after it came out, they were like, where's Compendium 3? And it's like, oh my God, like it's going to be another 4 years. Like we have to make this comic. And so that's kind of like the precursor to the William meme. Where's season 5, William?
Can we stay there? I want to ask you about something. So, you're in a lot of different mediums. So you're on television now, you're in animation and live action, but in comic books, there's no end. Like legitimately, I'm reading runs from new characters that I discovered when I was 6 years old.
Yes.
Like right now, I'm 46 years old.
Right.
So, we keep waiting for Winds of Winter to be written and all of this stuff like that. But for you, there's a kind of infinite sort of creation that people are going to expect from you in some of these worlds. What is the pressure to create like? People continuously asking you for more, for more, for more, for more, for more.
I don't look at it that way. I don't look at it as like a pressure to create. I look at it as like a gift to be able to continue creating.
An opportunity.
Because early in my career, I would do a book and I'd have a good time and it would get canceled. And I wouldn't be able to continue my story because I am very much a comic book person. I've been reading comics for as long as I can remember. And I love that continuing narrative that just keeps going without end. It's something that I just really enjoy writing. And so being able to now be in a position in my career where I can go, okay, I have this idea. I want to do it as a comic book. And how long do I want to do it? Like that's a tremendous gift that the fan base has given me. And it's great working in television because the struggle of television is how do you make your story compelling to get people to come back episode after episode. And in comics, you're doing that, but you have to deal with month-long gaps and you have to deal with like very abbreviated page counts. And there's a lot of hurdles that you don't have to deal with in television, but they translate like very well. So
if we stay on that, what I find interesting is that you're one of the rare comic book creators where you've created characters and through your own fighting, through working with retailers, they've been given the chance to be out long enough where now it's like Invincible goes from selling what I think at one point it was like 12K to now it's just like you guys are on a 6th season. So how do we get basically like an industry to support new heroes and new characters and give them the space where it's like you have your day one fans and then you have fans that are there for 5 years, 10 years.
I mean, that's the struggle. If I knew how to fix that, I'd be doing better. New ideas are very difficult to attract attention. Especially now that, comic books has long been an industry where Superman was invented in the 30s and Spider-Man was invented in the 60s. And there's, 50 years of this character and 30 years of this character. And that has crept into all media. Yeah. Now there's never going to not be a new James Bond movie. There's never going to not be a new Lord of the Rings movie. And it's just, everything just keeps going and keeps going and keeps going. And so any new idea always has to compete with all of these things that have built-in fan bases. And that's the struggle of everybody in the entertainment industry now. And we're all, working to, figure things out. But you've got things like Weapons and Obsession and Backrooms that are like becoming like new franchises. And there's a lot of new things in comics. There's this new Image comic called Dork that's absolutely like setting the industry on fire. Yeah, the Invincible sold 12,000 copies guy. Yeah.
My bad. Hey,
so, no. I'm just saying that is a level of knowledge that is impressive.
I'm now the Mark Grayson meme when I was reading the comics where he would always go into the comic book shop. I'm like, oh shit, I became this joke. Oh, nice. What attracted you to Transformers though? Like, cause that is obviously this is the Transformers guy. What is it about Transformers where you're like, I have a take on this. I want to get my hands dirty.
Yeah, their vehicles are turning into robots. Like, okay, great. They had me from day one. So yeah, and that was the sweet spot. I was just telling somebody earlier today, most comic book creators adore Spider-Man and they adore Batman, and that's all they want to do. They just want to write a long Spider-Man run or a long Batman run. Transformers and G.I. Joe, that's my stuff. Like I just love that stuff. And I don't know, it just hit me at the right time. I think I was like 6 in 1984. And so I was rushing home from school to watch afternoon cartoons. And if my bus was late, I would miss the first like 8 minutes of the episode of G.I. Joe because G.I. Joe was airing before Transformers. And I mean,
I remember.
You don't know. Like these kids don't know now. Just being on the school bus and being like, oh my God.
Gotta get home.
Oh my God.
Sometimes there's like an accident or that something's going wrong. Louisiana is very hectic. You get home and they're delivering the PSA and your evening is ruined. And you get home, you run home and it's like, and knowing is half the battle. And you're like, damn it.
Yeah. Here's the thing that my kids cannot wrap their heads around this. There was a chance you were never going to see that cartoon ever again for the rest of your life.
People do not understand that once the credit rolls, it disintegrates unless you're lucky enough for a rerun. There's no on demand where you can go back and watch
and they don't rerun every episode. Right. They don't tell you when they're going to rerun them. Yeah, that's the other thing. You'd come home and you'd get home on time and you'd be like, all right, new G.I. Joe. And then it'd be a rerun and you're like,
can I stay on that? So,
please do.
We watched a lot of cartoons growing up in our era. I remember the Mr. T cartoon and all of that stuff. And these lores seemed expansive then.
Yes.
But compared to the lores that we have now, there is so much fertile ground to expand G.I. Joe or to expand the Transformers. Now, there's been a lot of work with the Transformers, a lot of stuff in G.I. Joe. How do you look at taking characters that have that kind of fundamental groundwork, but then still doing something new with them? When you do Invincible, it's all new, right? Mm-hmm. The archetypes might be the same, but it's all new. When you do The Walking Dead, zombies, but a new way of doing it. How do you do Transformers or G.I. Joe in a new way?
I mean, to a certain extent, by creating the Energon universe and putting those characters together, we were in a sense doing something new because they hadn't ever really been integrated to that level, but they had been integrated before. So we weren't really doing anything new. Mm-hmm. We were just like figuring out different ways to approach it and different ways to present it. And so like in the past, anytime they would combine Transformers and G.I. Joe, it would be an event. Right. And it would be like, here's every G.I. Joe character and here's every Transformers character and they're all fighting this or doing that.
Or a post-credit scene.
And it would be very, moving on, it would be very complex. And with the Energon universe, we were trying to like slow roll into the characters and start with just Duke. And there is no G.I. Joe yet. And that kind of was the novel approach that we had hit upon. But you're right. Like we would sit around and go, okay, what would we do with G.I. Joe? What would we do with Transformers? And you start doing research and you're like, oh, that's been done. That's been done. That's been done. It's very difficult to find a lane with characters that have been explored as much as they have.
What do you see about those two lores, coming together that make them ripe for contemporary storytelling now?
I think one of the things that's the most special about those brands is the deep bench. Mm. They have explored those characters so much that you can, Firefly.
Yeah.
Okay. Mm-hmm. I could do a series on Firefly that ran 50 issues. Mm-hmm. And, that guy's been, here and there and wherever. But, there's so many Transformers that have, so many like defined characteristics and things that make them interesting. And it's just great. I mean, people talk all the time about Batman's Rogues Gallery versus Spider-Man's Rogues Gallery. And look at all these great villains they have. But you look at Cobra.
Yeah.
I mean, good Lord. Yeah. You got Storm Shadow, you got Baroness, you got you got Cobra Commander, you got Destro, you got Firefly, you got Dr. Mindbender, like Zartan, I'm forgetting a dozen cool, awesome
Decepticons too.
Cool visuals. Yeah, Decepticons have great villains. Yeah. It's just a never-ending wealth of characters. So when we were looking at at like putting the Energon universe together, and it was just like, okay, like this is decades worth of stories that we could explore.
Why do you think the 90s seem so back? You have a new comic terminal with Casey Kubert. You see everything that's happening in the Absolute Universe. That obviously you are heavily involved from a business creative standpoint in Image, But it seems like a lot of those, like the big muscles and the certain type of drawing, the stuff that I grew up on, is now back. Why do you think that is?
I mean, I think people are finally realizing how cool it is. Everything is cyclical, and I know that, the reaction to the 90s, which were very artist-driven, was to make comics that were very writer-driven. And comic book writers can tend to be like somewhat intellectual and, which tends to like lean towards like navel gazing and pretentious and slow. And, there's a lot of artful comics out there that are very like historic and great and cool. But every now and then, things just need to explode. And I think that, it's gotten to a point where people are like, I would like to have a comic book where like knives and guns are flying at me at all times and people have crazy muscles and there's people busting through walls and that's what you see in Absolute Batman. It's just absolute insanity at all times. And, I think that's really appealing to people.
It's funny you mentioned that. Like my dad one time, he saw Nightcrawler and he asked me about Nightcrawler. So Nightcrawler can transport. It was how does he transport? And I go, well, he goes into another dimension. And then out of that dimension, he pops back into our world in a different place. And my father went, Superman was really strong. he was like, yeah. And I was like, but Dad, do you know why? And he was like, why is Superman strong? He's from another planet. I'm like, he's strong because our Earth, our sun is young and his cells are drinking up the energy. And I just remember blowing his mind with how intellectual even the characters that he grew up on had become through a bunch of different retcons. So like that was kind of what you were speaking to, the fact that he liked to see Superman pick up a building. And I was into the scientific reasoning as to why Superman is so strong. How do you deliver to a new generation of comic fan that's kind of raised on that?
Well, I mean, I don't know. I'll just say like I am nothing if not a dumb guy. And so I live by the keep it simple, stupid motto.
Right.
And so, I think simplicity always like wins the day.
Mm-hmm.
And so I think it is interesting to think about like the basics of Superman and the evolution of superheroes until you get to characters like Nightcrawler or like when I also have a pet peeve with comics where they're like Cyclops's eye beams or his eyes are technically teleporters and he's teleporting an energy source from another dimension.
He can't get hurt by his own beams and his brother can't hurt him.
It's just like, hey man, he's got red lasers come out of his eyes. You don't have to do all this. I don't know why you're doing this.
That was part of the humor of Invincible, though. Like you would make certain jokes that were in reference to.
How complicated and people are like, oh, everybody in Invincible is strong and can fly or whatever. And it's like, I'm keeping it simple.
I want to ask you about somebody in Invincible.
Sure. All right. Here we go.
I want to ask you about one character in Invincible.
Oh, is this going to be bad?
No, it's not bad.
To set it up.
Okay.
There's new generations of Invincible fans, and I will say there's a certain new subset that's been on our ass.
Okay. So just to let you know, full disclosure. Okay. We've covered all the seasons of Invincible.
It's getting worse.
Okay. We've covered all the seasons of Invincible. You'll enjoy this.
Okay.
But this last season of Invincible, we didn't cover the show. Okay?
Oh.
Okay. The fans.
Now I'm mad. Go ahead.
Look, you should be very happy. The fans destroyed us.
It was
the
bad.
fans destroyed us, right?
Sounds well deserved, guys.
Thank you. It'll never happen again. Okay. The fans destroyed us. But over time.
Also, you set out season 4.
It was.
You saw the conquest fight and you were like, all right, we don't need to see what happens next.
See, this is us making friends because we're being honest, right? So the fans weren't having it. The fans weren't having it. And also during this season, I gotta be honest with you, just everybody was talking about the show. Everyone was talking about the show. And I fell in love with one specific character, Thrag.
Great.
Like I kept seeing Thrag. I kept being around. And every single time on the podcast, whatever show that would bring up, I would just say it's Thrag in that. I would just like, it just wouldn't matter what it was. It would be like Lord of the Rings. Do they have Thrag? Is Thrag in this season? Thrag. So my obsession with Thrag has me asking 2 questions about him. Number 1, is Thrag black? Thrag has a fade, bro. Have you seen the haircut? Have you seen the memes?
Have you seen the Thrag memes?
Have you seen the memes with Thrag?
I have seen the Thrag where like Krieg is just giving him the fade.
Yeah. It's like
I've
so.
seen that.
So obviously,
who sent you these memes?
Yeah, it's like,
and I'm on the internet.
So Thrag got the
I'm
Caesar.
not 60.
Thrag got the Caesar.
Okay.
And Thrag got some swag with him. Or did you code Thrag? So for us, just
I mean, it certainly wasn't deliberate. How do I navigate this? I'm gonna get in trouble. Help me.
Like you know what you just go? You go, hey, whatever you see in Thrag is the truth. That's what you see.
At the end of the day, whatever you see in Thrag, that's the truth.
Yeah. But seriously, this season seemed to be like one that was really, really important to the fans. Action-packed. I have watched it. It was amazing.
Thank you very much.
No problem. What do you feel like the legs on Invincible on television are? In the future, I'm sure you get asked this all the time, live action Invincible trilogy movie. Like what are the legs on that lore?
I mean, I'm very bullish on the legs on Invincible. I think the show is going to go for a good long while. We're having a great time doing it. I've already seen most of season 5, and we're very deep in the production on season 6. And so, I've got a pretty good idea of what's coming, and I'm pretty excited. And I think the fan base is going to be excited. Where it goes from there is anybody's guess. We are developing a live action movie with Universal. We have been for a good long time.
How's that going?
It's taking a long time because you can't come out with something that's not special. You can't come out with something that's not the best it can possibly be. So we're not rushing it. The show is running its course, and we don't want to do anything that detracts from the show or distracts from the show. So we're, navigating those waters is very precarious. So like I say, we're taking our time with it. So I've rambled for a good 25 seconds without saying anything, and I think I've talked about it enough.
I have a follow-up though, because if you give us an Invincible live action, we've seen some missteps in the superhero market.
Where?
Hey, bro,
what are you talking about?
I
can see.
You've been talking
missteps.
shit for years, bro. I was on the blogs. Okay, I know the history. Okay, so when you are developing a live
the
action,
early internet or the middle early, I don't know. Yeah, a long time ago, I'd say some stuff on the internet.
Yeah, come on. So when you're developing a live action Invincible, how are you making sure that it feels special, that it doesn't just feel like another superhero movie that you just need to see because of superheroes, but it honors what came before but also shows something new?
Just make sure that it has something unique about it, something that is different than other superhero movies, and also in some ways different from the animated series, something that just brings something new to the table, something new and exciting. I think that's what's missing in a lot of superhero movies these days. We've had them for 20 some odd years now in this current, I think that starting with, Iron Man and, Marvel and stuff, there was an elevation of superhero movies. It was finally they're honoring the material, and superhero movies got way better than they had been previously, sometimes. But we've had that now for 20, 30 years. And so it's not as exciting when there's a good superhero movie out because you've seen so many good superhero movies.
You want it to be great.
Right. You need something that's going to bring some extra, also people don't younger kids now. It's when Samuel L. Jackson comes out at the end of that Iron Man movie, the very first Iron Man movie,
when you see the Avengers together for the first time on screen, it's I've been waiting just for
sure. But even going back to just having Nick Fury walk into a room and talk to Iron Man, you're just how's this possible?
It's a fundamental moment. It's I never forget. I'm looking around. I indicted the rest of the row. I'm in the movie and it's Fury. I'm like, oh my God, and they're going, what? People don't know.
Yeah.
And I'm like. And he goes, the Avengers in this. I'm like, Jesus Christ.
Yeah.
Also, they went with Black Nick Fury, which as a kid, I was just wait,
which was
this is not the ultimate.
It was a phenomenal moment. And, and in that moment, I'll orient my question around this. You can't do that as much anymore because it's been done so many times. So that feeling of newness and freshness that we got by getting to these places we had never.
Henry Cavill's Superman could show up in the after credit sequence of Spider-Man Brand New Day and be like, hey, I need your help fighting Darkseid. And the audience would be like, okay, I guess we're getting Superman in the next movie.
Spider-Man, Superman crossover. You know what I mean? Cool.
I guess that's happening.
So, what do you, since the feeling of freshness and newness is gone, and it's not going to return for at least a half a generation, what do you replace it with?
Well, if I said that here, that would be bad for me. But if I had it, no, I mean, it's discovering that, it's finding that trick or that thing, or, it could just be as simple as going back to making like a really complex drama that lands on a lot of levels that just happens to be a superhero movie, to kind of strip it down to its core, just finding a different way in, or a different visual language, or, something special that stands out. I mean, everybody's hard at work on this.
Do you think the industry, though, will like take some of what's happening with the Invincible show on Amazon or X-Men 97? When I was growing up as a kid, a lot of my on-ramp to these heroes was I would watch the cartoon, I would beg my mom to go to the comic book shop, and then someone would be like, all right, here's the actual thing that it's based on. Do you feel like, because that's what's manga and anime. You get a manga, you get an anime. How does the US market start being like, hey, we have so many stories, give people certain different types of ramps to get on?
I mean, that's part of it. I think that, there's a certain level of success that Invincible has had because we are adapting the comic book so faithfully. Because we are using that material so completely. And even to this day, as good as a lot of superhero movies are, they still have source material that is significantly better than the movie that it's supposedly based on.
Right.
And it seems like it should be simple, but like figuring out a way to actually take the material that exists in comics and bring it to the screen in a better and more authentic way, which, we've gotten pretty close in a lot of movies. But yeah, I mean, if there was, a new Marvel universe that was using some, very historic comics in more complete ways, maybe that would work.
That's a question for me. I'm flipping around the channels and I see Negan's on TV.
Okay.
Walking Dead is strong still. Walking Dead is going. Walking Dead is a thing. I remember the first season of Walking Dead, watching it, all those people are like,
and Walking Dead Dead City season 3 launches, I think, next week. Anyway, go ahead.
All those people are like legitimate movie stars now. Like you have.
I saw the Odyssey. There's like 4 Walking Dead actors in that.
Yeah, it's legitimately been an incubator.
Yeah.
Like how we found some of the defining stars of this era. How long can Walking Dead last on television? Like
forever.
It's going on for.
I don't know.
We'll see.
We'll see. Yeah. I mean, it's had a good long run, and it doesn't seem to have lost too much steam. So yeah. I mean, I think
Negan, complex, amazing character, especially like how we first met him.
Also, the way it's evolved in the television show with Jeffrey Dean Morgan in the portrayal, I think is really remarkable, and has taken it beyond the comics in some really cool and interesting ways.
When I read when you chopped off Rick's arm, like hand in the comics, I was a kid. I was like, you can't do that. I was like, fuck yeah. But my last question for you is: we're our podcast. We argue a lot. We want to get your answer.
Okay.
Best trilogies. Okay. We got the Dune trilogy about to end this year. We got Lord of the Rings. We got the original Star Wars. What are some others?
These are cinematic trilogies.
Cinematic. Like we're trying to crown the best trilogy for Robert Kirkman.
Well, you got Spider-Verse coming.
Spider-Verse?
When that one wraps up, that'll be I think that'll be a strong one. Dune is definitely a contender. The first Dune movies are absolutely spectacular, and I got the privilege of watching the second one, 70 millimeter IMAX with my kids next to me. They're 20 and 17 now, so they were probably 18 and 15 when Dune 2 came out. And I would just look over while we were watching the movie, and I could see in their faces like they were just losing their minds.
Yeah.
And I was like, oh my God, this is their Star Wars. Like, this is like this pinnacle of cinematic achievement to them. And we talked about it for hours after the movie. And so I could not be more excited for Dune 3, which is co-written by Brian K. Vaughan, which is super exciting.
Also doing Gundam. I think he's been working on the
he's very popular. I'm very jealous. But yeah, no, I think Dune is definitely a contender. It's tough. I love the Star Wars trilogy, but I think for consistency, you can't beat the Lord of the Rings trilogy.
God damn.
Wow, so we got one vote for that. Just
one vote.
No. It's the first
They're
vote.
killing us. I think Dune is about to be better.
I think Dune very much has the potential to be better. Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah, but I mean, completed trilogy already out. I mean, I don't know. I love those Lord of the Rings movies. I would watch those extended editions any day of the week. Yeah.
And then
I wish they were 7 hours long each. There's not enough Lord of the Rings in those movies.
Wow.
And last but not least,
Hobbit's
for the fans, when are we getting more Thrag?
Season 5?
We can't get it. We can't get no solo books. We can't get a little spin-off action. We can't.
I don't know. We're busy on the Battle Beast book right now, and that's taken up. But you did get a little bit of Thrag in Battle Beast. He does make some cameo appearances. Actually, you'll get a little bit of Thrag coming up. I'll say that.
Oh,
shit,
wow.
okay.
I'll say that.
Dropping some,
He's coming back. He'll
gets
appear
some
in
Thrag.
Battle Beast again.
When you release it, you should release it in February.
Okay.
Black History.
Black History
Yes,
Month.
I'm aware. I'm
Okay,
aware.
we can't assume anything.
Y'all.
You guys got the short month. It's unfair.
Oh, look, now that's why I love that. Thank you. We appreciate that, man. Robert Kirkman, it'll be the headline. It says Black History Month should be year round. That's what we'll put this on YouTube.
You get 2 months.
Thank you very much.
All right.
Robert Kirkman, thank y'all.
Thanks. This is great.
Y'all, we're back. We're joined here by Cody Ziglar.
Thanks for having me.
Yo, thank you for being here. If y'all don't know, my man, you've written on She-Hulk, Rick and Morty, currently Futurama, and
Yes.
I would say for our purposes, most exciting. You're announced as the new Static writer. How's it feel?
It feels. Can we curse on this thing? I don't.
No, we could definitely.
Oh, it feels.
Fucking say whatever the fuck you want.
It feels fucking crazy. Like I was telling. I was with Stephanie Williams, who's another fantastic, prolific writer, comic writer, black.
She's on the Vixen book.
Yes, and like we've talked about. It's like we grew up. There's not a lot of us on TV. Like you see like Static and like seeing that domino that leads to like Miles Morales, which leads back to like Static. It's like very cool. Like I always think about like the first time I saw that TV show. Like, oh wow, they look like us. His dad looks like mine. His family looks like mine. They have the same interactions that we have. Like they have the same real conversations. And I remember being like 2021 when like Miles got announced. Like, oh, there's gonna be like a Black Spider-Man, and like running to like the comic book shop and like buying the one. And like I've had that framed next to my work desk for like 14, 15 years now. Like it's meant so much to me. And like I would love to give that feeling to like the next generation. Like I would love to have like a 12-year-old kid be like, oh, he looks like my cousin. Right. He looks like my aunt. And like have them get into the arts. Like I have this big evil plan where like my dad was really, I mean, he's still here, but he was really into like getting me into like arts and drawing. And like he's the first time I saw like a Frank Frazetta book was like my dad. And he got me into the arts and playing music and stuff. I would love the idea of that seed being like the thing that's planted in like the next Black generation. Like, oh, this guy can do it. Right. I can do it. And that means like my sister can do it. My cousin can do it. Like my friend can do it. That guy at the bus stop or that lady at the bus stop, they can do it. Like for me, it's all about sowing the seeds and like having those sprout up and like getting more Black people into the arts. And I think the for me, the easiest way was like seeing people that look like us to do that.
Right.
No, that's a very long-winded answer.
No, I like it. Static is such an interesting character because like when I first started to see the actual television show, I wasn't aware of the weightiness of the character.
Yeah,
and how
yeah,
good
yeah.
it was going to
The
be.
Milestone Universe.
The Milestone Universe
Nick
and all of
Duffy
that
was
stuff.
doing
I knew of the Milestone Universe, but I didn't. When I was coming up in comics, I'm a little older. I'm 46. So when I was coming up in comics, to get comics that were off the beaten path, you really had to try.
Yeah.
Right?
Yeah.
And so when Static starts to come around, I remember my boy Ian goes, yo, this show is actually awesome.
Yeah.
Like this is an awesome character.
Yeah.
Like nothing, like this is an awesome character.
Yeah.
And I think people have been clamoring and waiting
Yeah.
for that character to take his place in greater comic book lore and pop culture relevance for a while.
Yeah. I mean, I agree. Like, I don't know where you guys are from, but I'm from North Carolina, very small, like rural town in North Carolina. So again, like, I was like maybe 10, 11, 12 when it came out. Like, I didn't know that it was a comic book. I just knew it was like, oh, look like Batman, the TV show.
Yeah.
Like, I know that was a comic book. And like where we were at, like comics weren't a huge thing. Like you couldn't drive to like a comic book shop. Like you could go to like a newsstand and maybe get like The Flash or like
Or
Incredible
a carousel at the 7-Eleven.
Yeah, for real, like exactly. But like we didn't have a dedicated comic book shop. So like I couldn't read comics. I got into comics very late. So like I've been thinking about this sort of idea, like the pillars. Like I think now we're very lucky. It's not a lot, but like we have like, when you think of like young Black superheroes, male superheroes, it's like Miles and Virgil. And like I would love to have more people holding up those pillars. But like I think to your point, like you're saying, like we're at the point finally where like people have been clamoring for these characters. Not just this character, but like a lot of Black characters. This got announced yesterday as of this recording, and like this is I've never had just more Black love from strangers in my DMs. Like, and I thought like for me, like Miles was the one for me. So like I thought I'd just get all this love from Miles, and I did get that. But like truly, the amount of like this means so much to me. Like I've been waiting for this book for so long. Like, it's been like 1,200 days or whatever the count was since like, there's been like an ongoing like mainline Black superhero. So like the amount of love is great. Also the pressure that comes with this, like, oh man, I got to like really deliver, which is like nice. Like it's a great problem to be. It's a great place to be. I just came here from the Futurama recording, and like Phil Lamar is like one of our cast members, and like it's so surreal to be like, oh, like he was Virgil. And like now I work with him, and now I'm going back and writing Virgil, and like it's a weird like full circle moment for me. It's very surreal. It's the only time I've texted my dad being like, hey, I'm writing this thing, and be like, what you writing?
Wow.
Yeah, it's very cool. Yeah.
What was your like pitch for like Static? Because obviously like it's a dream gig. So
yeah,
it's one of those things where you're like, okay, now that I'm the writer, what's my plan?
Yeah, I mean, I'm going to give a lot of love and shout out to Stephanie Williams about this whole thing. Eisner nominated Stephanie Williams because like when they first approached me, I was just coming off Miles. We did like 40 something issues, like another 30. I've done like so many issues of Miles. So like I was like, oh, is this going to be like a parallel move? Can I make this like a new fresh thing? Will it feel like a rehash? Like all this stuff. You guys just know, like when you're in the creative field, like you want to like strive and do like, you don't want to do the same shit. You want to like move the goalpost in a good way, creative way. And like she really gassed me up and gave me the energy I needed to like come into it with perspective. And like my perspective is like going back to like the TV show. For most of us who didn't have, or at least people like me who didn't have access to like a city near us, like we got this media through TV. So I want it to be very friendly. I want it to be someone who has, maybe you know who Static is. Maybe you've read his Wikipedia, like the major beats, sort of the same way that like we know who Peter Parker is. We know that Superman's from like another planet. We understand just culturally who Virgil is.
Right.
And through that, this will make an easy access to this. Like I was saying, my point of view is that it's an introduction to Virgil to like the audience, but also to the DC world at large. And I think now one of the benefits of that is like we do have a lot of like Black new writers coming into the DC with Black characters that some of them haven't been announced, some of them have been announced, but like I want to build a coalition, and like I am of the mindset like a rising tide lifts all ships. Like I want to get in there and like work with all my other Black creators. Right. And create like sort of like what Milestone did, like creating like a new era of Milestone with like that we're in the DC, like we're all jumping out of this plane together. If my parachute doesn't work, maybe yours will work. Like that's my mindset going in. That's like sort of a tangent to what you're asked. But to go back to your question, I really want to be very approachable. I want you to pick this book up and be like, oh, I know what this is without having to be bogged down in lore, and feel very, very fun. It's my introduction to Static. So like the way that I picked up Miles was like, you should be able to read this and just know what the story is and know what these vibes are. And like, if you're from the culture, you understand what this shorthand is for these characters.
Right now, you have the reinvention, or not the reinvention. Let me put it to you like this. So Mr. Terrific is getting a show.
Yeah.
And Eddie's a guy of ours, a friend of ours.
Yeah.
We know him.
Yeah.
Amazing, right? These are characters, him, Static, some others that have been around for a while.
Yeah.
Right? They've been around for a while. But it's almost as if now you're debuting them.
Yeah.
Like Mr. Terrific, in a way, his debut almost was in that movie. But you had seen him in comic books.
Yeah.
You had seen
He'd
him
been in the
on
CW show.
CW show.
Yeah.
Yeah, he had been around. But
Yeah.
as far as like, this is a Superman ally that you have to contend with.
Yeah.
Do you feel pressure at all? I mean, it's parallel to a question, the question that Charles just asked. But like now, what I'm really trying to say is the spotlight is there, and people are going, okay, what are you gonna do?
Yeah, I mean, I think there's pressure with anything when it comes to like being like the first introduction back into something, but also like pressure does make diamonds. I think we can all speak like this industry can be very stressful in its own ways, particularly when like you look like us and from our backgrounds. Like I'm used to that, but I actually think that that's a benefit. Like I think about this all the time when like 10 years ago when like Marvel first started like cooking, like they were cooking, but like they were cooking.
Yeah,
and like my mom knows what an Infinity Stone is. Like
that's crazy.
That's crazy. Like
that's so nuts that people know what the goddamn it. They know what the Soul Stone is.
They know that Mr.
Stone.
Terrific uses spheres. Like
right.
Like that's just like it's. I think it's an actual benefit to have that cultural shorthand. Like I think like many things now. Like we've been watching TV for like 100-something years. Like people, the audience, like the layman isn't really the layman anymore. Like they have an understanding of like what story is. They understand how different media has different ways of telling stories. So like, I think it's a benefit to have someone coming in and be like, all right, I know James Gunn's Mr. Terrific. Like I want to read the Mr. Terrific comic book. So like the same way that like people would, maybe they've watched the Static TV show, like, or they've seen him in like some of the other DC movies, like animated movies and stuff, they come in with like, I understand, like I don't have to read his Wikipedia page. Like I know he controls electricity. Like I know he has a family. Sometimes he's 15, sometimes a little bit older. Like I think that's actually a very easy, that's actually does a lot of heavy lifting for me, from my perspective as a writer. Like how many times do you need to read an origin story of like Peter Parker? Like how many times do you need to see the Waynes walk down that alley? Like it's called Crime Alley. Like what are we doing? Like we've all sort of got that. So we can sort of, I think the benefit is that you can like jump into it. Like you understand the setting, the places are set, you know who's here, you know this, the tables are set. Now we can get into like the actual story and get into what eventually the book will be.
So I'm not trying to be Mr. Radical or get you in trouble, but obviously with you doing Static, Stephanie doing Vixen, as a lifelong comic book fan, I'm like, okay, but when we gonna let more Black creators touch like Batman or X-Men? Like as someone who's in the room, are you like, no, that's obviously like you want to play with the big toys as well? Like,
yeah, I mean, it's so, I felt like I've had a very strange career from the comic book side because like the two characters I wanted to write were Miles and Deadpool. And like I got those like basically off jump.
So your dream off jump.
Yeah.
Like I got it.
Which is great. But you know, you're like, it's like suffering from success. It's like, no, now like I've done what I want to do. Like now what do I want to do? Like how do I challenge myself? Like how do I be scared? Like fight or flight. How do I activate that creative like fight or flight mode?
Yeah. And
with this, like, you know, it's very scary because one, I've never worked for DC before. I'm coming into a universe that like I haven't really kept up with outside of like the absolute line. So like that's very scary in a good way. But as far as like, you know, the big characters, like I think it does help to put in perspective. Like Stephanie loves Vixen. Like she's been working on this book for like 2 years. When we first met 2 or 3 years ago, she's like, man, I would love to do a Vixen book. So like,
but can I ask, how does she even get to the point where it's like Vixen is a character where it's like if you grew up with the Justice League cartoon or reading comics, we know who Vixen is.
Yeah.
Can you? I don't want you to talk for Stephanie, but was that a boulder that she was trying to push up a hill? Like we need an ongoing Vixen book.
I mean, I can't speak for Steph, but I just know she had such passion for it, and like, this is just my how I got into these characters. Like I remember, this is like the go to. You're watching Dragon Ball Z and you see Piccolo's like, oh, that's a nigga, that's my uncle. Like I think like if we have no representation and you see like the smallest like squinting your eyes.
If you have no representation, you create it.
Exactly. And it's like, I was thinking about this analogy last night. Like for so long, you see these characters like Clark Kent or Steve Rogers, and like you understand like the makeup of the character, but you got to squint a little bit. Like, all right, he's like a good person. Like he's about having, you know, no biases, and like he's a good person. Like you got to squint, and like, you know, it goes out of focus, and you like can kind of put yourself in there. I think the benefit of this is like now we can have our eyes all the way open. Like, oh, I don't have to squint to see this like Picasso type painting. Like this is a real thing, and it looks like me, and it sounds like me, it looks like my family. Now I already have that like connection, like just by the color of our skin, the texture of our hair, the way that we glass, the way that we wear chains, whatever. I think seeing that makes it a little bit easier for us to get in there. So like, I don't know for Stephanie, but if it was like me, like I saw Miles, and I remember being so like crying with like joy, like, oh, this looks like my cousin Donovan.
Yeah.
And that is so important. So like, I could see, like, I don't want to speak for Steph, but like, I could see a world where she's like, yo, this character's always been like my Batman or my Wonder Woman or whatever. And like, my goal is like, I want to make everyone realize like how important it was for me, how it can be important for everyone. At least that's what my thought is.
And now a character like that is just like one television or movie portrayal away from being on a level that they weren't before.
Yeah.
I mean, I gotta be honest with you guys, before 2008 or 2009, 2000, whenever it came out, nobody gave a fuck about Black Widow like that.
Yeah.
She was cool.
And that's everyone.
Like she was a cool character.
Yeah.
Man,
like,
they give it Vision a TV show.
I'm just saying, like she was a cool character. Like they're like if you had Silver Sable or Black Cat or any of those characters, like they're cool characters, a part of the thing. Yeah. But I mean, Black Cat, you know, we'll see what happens in the future with Spider-Man and stuff. But those characters now are like legitimate, like mainstream. Like Black Widow is a big deal now,
and they have great books now.
They have great books.
Like Kelly Thompson's Black Widow is one of the best things I've ever read. Like obviously, no Matt Factions and Dave Ayaya's like Hawkeye, like an incredible, so good that they based a TV show off of it. So like to your point, I'm sorry, I didn't mean to cut you off, but I was just so excited about it. Is that like we're at the point now where like the books have caught up. Like now, people, like I said, people know who Hawkeye. They know who both Hawkeyes are. Like they know that we're at the point now where we have 2 Falcons. Like we know
2
like,
Black Widows.
Yeah, 2 Black. We have legacy characters in the same shows. So like that's real. I mean, that's really exciting as a comic book creator, not just like writer, but also readers. Like, oh, we can see the different types of these. Like now we have like the fact that we have a U.S. agent in a movie that works
U.S.
is crazy.
Man, that's what a pull.
Yeah.
U.S. agent, the off-brand Captain America
Yeah.
that was like that had popped up, and you would be all, that's not Captain America, that's
Yeah.
U.S. agent. The fact that U.S. agent is now this is and I'm not meaning to disparage any of these characters when I say what I'm trying to say is that now you legitimately have a beautiful on-ramp for Vixen or for Static, or I'm waiting for Bishop to get his goddamn moment. For all of these characters now, the infrastructure is there. I like Bishop. Like all of these characters are there for them to be like main things. We've seen it happen. So this is the point. This is the time.
Yeah, I mean, I think it's a great moment for sequential art in general. But like, I think about like what Absolute Line is doing. Like, they're all bangers,
Phenomenal.
but they are all so deeply weird in the best way possible. Like, I could like if you're telling me that there's a Martian Manhunter book that makes your brain melt when you read it, like, or that like
Wonder Woman book is incredible.
It's incredible. Like, she has spoilers, but she has like a magic arm that disappears, and she has a sword that gets as big. It's just so.
I like
fun.
the Superman one. I think it's
they're all bangers. Like,
I think the Superman one is an incredibly subversive take on Superman.
Working class. Clark Kent is like.
But when's the last time we've had a line where it's like everybody can have their own favorite book?
Yeah.
It's been a minute.
Yeah, and it's exciting, dude. Like I've been lucky to work in comics. It seems crazy saying this for like 4 or 5 years, and now it's like it gets very hard to read comics that for fun. Like it is like a little bit. Oh, I'm doing this for research, and maybe the same for you guys when you watch TV and movies. Sometimes you're like, oh, I'm here, but like part of me is like partitioned to be like, this is work. So like, it's very fun to be at a place where I can read something for fun, which I haven't been able to do in a very long time.
Is there anything that you, obviously it's all storytelling,
Yeah.
but you learn from the TV side of doing She-Hulk or Futurama, and then going and doing a Static book or a Miles book or writing Deadpool? Like, is there a TV writer side of your brain and a comic book? Because they're different mediums, but it's still story.
Yeah, it's funny. I'm so glad you asked that because I've been thinking about it a lot for the past couple of years, and that like, so I came from TV first, and it's all about collaboration. Comedy rooms, like I can't speak for drama. I've never done drama, but like from the comedy side, it's so collaborative. Like you're not precious about anything. Like the process is, for those who don't know, is that you write your script and you come back, and then every single one person in that room, we read it line by line and we make it better. So like I enter into the comic book process being like, oh, I'm not an artist. Like I'm not a visual storyteller. Like there's no way that I'm going to outright Justin Mason or Federico Bizantini. Like I'm not an editor. Like when like working with editors, being like, oh, I have to see like what this is going to be. Someone always says, an editor always says, this is always going to be someone's first issue, whether it's issue 1, issue 17, issue 42. So there's a way that you have to collaborate with everyone to make it make sense. And I really thrive off that. Like I love the idea of coming in together and be like, oh, how can I make this? If you're like Stephanie Williams, like what can I do in my book to make your book stronger? Like what can I do in your book to make your book stronger? Like I like the collaborative aspect of it. So like I come into these things thinking about that, but then also when it just comes to structure, like I've been lucky, Rick and Morty is a very specifically structured show. Without getting into the minutia of it, like it's Dan Harmon created a very specific type of writing style, which I think is very.
He talks about the whole.
Yes, the circle and all that. Yeah,
Yeah.
and like that's very helpful for like mythology, and comic books are like modern day mythology, so it's very easy for me to like put that into that. But also for the comic book side, there were moments when like I've had editors when I first started being like, it's a comic book. You can have them have a laser gun that shrinks you down, or like a truck that turns into a submarine. Like you can lean into the fun of the medium. And like my first couple of issues, like I thought everything had to make very structural and like modern sense. But like, no, there's a nigga with 4 robotic arms, and his name is Dr. Octopus.
Right.
Like you can lean into that fun and like don't be afraid to chase that fun. So like it's been very fun mirroring. Yes, those two realities together.
It's been a long week of all.
I got one last question, man.
What's good?
There's only one episode of television that I feel like should be erased from human thought and existence, never to be showed or referenced again. And that's an episode of television called Jurassic Bark.
Oh, yeah. Yeah.
Like, I'm legitimately getting emotional right now.
Yeah.
Dog, that's too sad, bro.
Yeah.
I know, like, that's too sad. And like, sometimes when I get, if you guys don't know the episode of Futurama, you guys know the episode. I've talked about it before. Sometimes when I get really bummed out about it, I go watch subsequent episodes of Futurama where the dog is back.
Yeah.
Because they have different versions of the timeline where he's back with the dog.
Yeah.
Y'all got to do something. You got to talk to your friends over there.
Yeah.
You got to do something to like undo Jurassic Park.
Yeah. It's a lot of trauma. Like,
I can't believe that happened in that timeline. I can't wrap my mind. That's too sad, bro.
I know. Look, in my interview, they were talking about like we were talking with our showrunner David and Matt, the creator of all these shows, and I was like, I'm gonna be real with you, like that's actually like my favorite episode. Like, I love that because you don't see it coming. It's so good because my two favorite episodes of TV are Jurassic Park and Pickle Rick, and I think they're very similar in that Pickle Rick. He's turns himself into a pickle. He's like fighting through rats and making like an Iron Man mech suit, and he ends up in this weird like Eastern European like diplomatic building. It's all very insane. And like the last 4 minutes is just him having a very real grounded conversation with his family's therapist because he's not there as a grandpa. And that's the same way that I thought about Jurassic Park. Like, oh, it's this fun adventure. We go back in time. We're seeing Fry's dog, and then the last 2 minutes is just the most saddest, grounded piece of media.
It's not even sad. Like I'm literally about to cry. It's not like it's not sad. Sad is like, me and my friends hung out all summer. Yeah. And then I had to go away to college.
Yeah.
Exactly. See, you knew. Like that's sad.
Yeah.
That's sad. Like the end of fucking Stand By Me. We were never together like that again. The end of the Sandlot. Oh, this was us for this one major summer, and one guy went on to play. That's sad.
Yeah.
This is a Greek tragedy of epic proportions as we have to watch that poor pup go to meet his master every single day and then pass away, never seeing his owner again, his best friend. Why is that your favorite episode of the show?
I like pain. I guess I don't know.
Like pain. All right, God damn. All right, my last question, because I always want to ask people, you worked at Marvel, you worked as DC as a writer. What's the differences?
I mean, everyone says this, but I think that, I mean, Stanley always said Marvel's the world outside your window. That's why it takes place mostly in like real places. So like, I do enjoy that aspect of like, you know, you go to New York, you walk around Brooklyn, you see people, listen how they talk, listen how they dress. Like, it's just something about going into the city and like New York. I mean, I'm not going to give my spiel about New York, but like, it's one of the specific cities where like you feel the city when you get into it. Like, I'm not from there, but like when I go in there, like I look at the skyscrapers, and sometimes I'm like, oh man, what would it be like if like Human Torch was like blazing past the Chrysler building?
As a kid, because like I lived in New York, you think about like, oh well, Spider-Man could be swinging from that building. Like, is he like
like that's really cool. Like I always think about that's what the major difference for me is, that like if I want to understand what Riri Williams is like, I can just catch a flight to Chicago and like walk around,
right?
Which is fun. And like on the flip side with DC is like, oh, we have an idea of what Gotham is like. It's scary. Like that's and like so like. Yeah, I think you have a lot of freedom, like you're not tied down to reality, but like there is something that I really enjoy about the tech talents of like the West Coast Avengers live in LA. Like that's something very funny about like I can drive to like, you know, Silver Lake and maybe see.
When I moved to LA, I was just like, this city don't need an Avengers team. They don't feel the same. But even just like working with, do they have different like ethos in terms of just like, oh, over here, our books are kind of like this, and at DC is different, or no? It's just
I think they just care about story like that. I mean, they really care about like story and character. And like, granted, I'm very new at DC, but like, I feel like something I love about both companies that so far is that like they run with the idea. Like, if like you have a really fun idea, and I see that it activates you in like a very primal, fun way, chase that whimsy, like push whimsy, like chase that, follow your bliss. And like I find that very comforting as someone coming to DC for the first time, because I'm like, oh my god, like I'm the new kid in school. Are they going to bully me? They can push me into like a locker that fucking Batman owns. But no, they're very chill, and like I love that. My first book was at Marvel was like Spider-Punk, and they gave honestly probably too much freedom, like write whatever you want to, and that's the exact same energy I'm having right now with Static, and like I love that. Like I as a creative, like that fulfills me with such joy.
Man, hell yeah. Thank you so much.
Of course.
Cody,
thanks for having me, bro.
Appreciate you, brother.
Hell yeah.
Appreciate you, bro.
Yeah.